Welcome to the In My Opinion show with host Henry Hatter and friends. Seen on the internet via YouTube. Enter in capital letters RBR, IMO to watch our exciting programming. Subscriptions are free. The In My Opinion show is seen on Flint, Michigan, Comcast Cable TV, Channel 17 every Saturday at 6 p.m. and Wednesdays at 8:30 p.m. The In My Opinion show is also seen on Detroit, Michigan Comcast Cable Television Channel 68 every Sunday at 9 p.m. We want to welcome our worldwide viewers. We hope that you will enjoy our programming, that are newsworthy, educational, political, and entertaining. If you would like to be a guest on this exciting program or have different opinions on our subject matter, please email our producer, In My Opinion, RBR, on att.net. Today we have an exciting candidate, a candidate for mayor. Candidate Karen Weaver, welcome to the In My Opinion show.
Well, thank you.
We are happy to have you. It's a departure from tradition to have a candidate like you that's well educated, well positioned, successful business-wise, and appear to be surrounded by capital, well-supported funding mechanisms, and flanked by supporters in the Flint community of able and respected citizens. Not too many candidates can boast that. Welcome.
Thank you. I am really glad to be here today.
First I should start off and ask you, who the world is Karen Weaver?
That's a good question. No one has put it quite like that, but that's a really good question. I'll tell you who Karen Weaver is. I'm a mother. I'm a wife. I'm a daughter. I'm a sister. I should say I'm a child of God. I should have said that one first and foremost. But I'm also a businesswoman, and I'm a Flintstone. You know, that's the nickname we give ourselves. I was born and raised in Flint. I've lived here 50 plus years. And most of all, I'm concerned. I'm a concerned citizen. I'm a concerned mayoral candidate about the city of Flint. That's who I am. I can give you some more information about me. I'm the daughter of the late Dr. T. Wendell Williams and Marion Coates Williams. I've been married to my childhood friend, Dr. Rex Weaver, for 28 years now, and we have 3 children.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Karen, you know,
yes.
So many people who run for public office seem to be able to make the law and rules as they go. Now I want to ask you this fundamental question. Do you believe in the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of this state and the Constitution of Michigan, of Flint?
Of course.
Unconditionally.
You know, we can start talking about the charter if you want to.
No, not yet. I don't
Not yet? Okay, I do. Yes, I do.
We are gravitating, not the folks who make a lot of noise in Flint, but we want to reach those people who are voters, who care about Flint, who live in Flint, who make their livelihood here, who support Flint and it's all of its endeavors. Those are the people that we're trying to reach.
And those are the people I'm concerned about. Okay. Those are the exact people.
And those are the people who vote. They count.
Yes.
So you support the Constitution of the United States. Now, the next question I'll ask you, will you develop? Now, this is a fundamental question that's very important to those people, and you're talking to people in the 4 quadrants of Genesee County, of Flint.
The entire city.
This entire city.
Yes.
Irrespective of their money, their race, their religion, their gender, etc. You're going to talk to, that's the element that we're talking to today.
Okay.
Will you develop and stand behind a strong police force, well-trained and highly disciplined, who yet believe that being a policeman is a noble and rewarding career?
Yes.
Because I think that that's what they miss a lot.
It is what's missing.
Will you stand behind such a department to effectively maintain order and control?
Yeah.
To assure that children and students and old people and people who come into our town to visit and housewives to be safe and secure as they move around the city?
Yes.
Speak to that.
Yes, and that's what I'd like to see happen. That's exactly what I'd like to see happen. And you said that's been missing, and it has been missing. And there are some things that we can do to help with that. Because public safety is a huge issue. That's one of the top priorities that would be in a Weaver administration, but it's one of the top concerns when I've been going around talking with people, or when you hear people give what's going on with them and why they're concerned about Flint and what needs to change. Public safety is one of the top issues, and we have to do something about public safety. There's some things that I would like to see happen with public safety. We used to do community policing, and we only do that in a small portion of the city now. That's something that needs to come back. We need more of our local police officers that need equipment. They need new equipment. There are grants available to get new equipment for police officers. We've talked about having body cameras and car microphones. Those are some of the things that we need to make it safe. There are other things that can go into that with public safety. Looking at working with consumers' powers. We need some of these trees cut down because you can't see. The lighting is poor in some of the neighborhoods. You don't feel safe when it's dark and you can't see.
Okay, now we're only focusing on police department.
That's right.
That is one of the things around the country that puts most cities and urban communities into really dark situation.
Correct.
And that's where people want, they want mayoral candidates to stand up, follow the Constitution, and implement rules that are already there for
and you know what? That's what I was going to say, because there are ordinances that are already in place that need to be enforced. They need to be enforced. And those are just some of the things that when you're looking at some of those, they have to be enforced if we want to have a safe city. We need to do that.
And you will be the key to that. No other person is responsible. When the people decide who their candidate because that becomes mayor, it rests on your shoulders to create an environment and an organization that will be a respected police department.
Correct.
That defends citizens against corrupt practices by individuals who would deny the law, and also to maintain their safety, particularly safety. Right. Safety is very important.
Safety is very important.
It's important to housewives.
Right. It's important to all of us. It really is. And it's important for us to be able to do some things to grow the city and bring it back.
Yeah, we need to stand up to people who for too long have gotten away with it.
Right.
We need to stop that.
We need to stop it.
We need a strong mayor.
Because we can't keep doing the same thing and expecting new results. You're absolutely right. We need to stop it.
And I think that people who are looking at the show will be looking at the progress that you make in the event that you become mayor, because we're going to hold you to it.
Well, I hope so.
Now, what skills and credentials do you bring, that you possess, that positions you to become the mayor of a major industrial city that was once the center of learning, the center of economics, and the center of public life?
You're absolutely right, it was. The credentials that I have include, well, I got my bachelor's degree from Tougaloo College in psychology. I received my master's degree from Long Island University and my doctorate in clinical psychology from Michigan State University. I've been involved in different kinds of work along my career that have given me a unique set of skills. I started in private practice. That was one of the first things that I did. But from there, I went to Mott Children's Health Center. I was there for nearly 20 years. And the last 10 of those years, I was department head. I was director of behavioral services, and I was part of the management team. And being part of the management team, at that point in time, we had a net worth of approximately approximately $200 million. But you had to be disciplined. You had to be fiscally responsible. So I had to know how to do those things. I had to know about budgeting. I had to know how to prioritize, how to delegate. And those are things you need to sit in that seat. I had to know how to partner and collaborate with other agencies and entities to bring things together to make things happen. Because sometimes you're not doing it alone. You've got to reach out and be able to work with other people, with other agencies, with other organizations. So those were some of the skills that I had. And even going to Inner Center for Children, I was the chief of operations there. So once again, I had to utilize those sets of skills and know about financing and budgeting and grants and handling staffing issues.
Karen, I gotta move on, but we may come back to that.
Okay.
Because I got a question that pertains to that as well.
Okay.
We'll see that question, but a good response. Now, there are those, Karen, who would say that Flint, Michigan is on the bottom of the economic rung, despite of all of the money investments made by Mott Foundation, by the University of Michigan, by Baker College, by Kettering, and by other institutions, to reestablish a dominance that made this city once the envy of the world. And would you say that, and yet the attitudes, public attitudes are dismal.
Yes.
Schools are underperforming, unperforming. Crime is high, and civic pride is low. Are we really too low to prioritize anything that would make a difference in our generation or for the next decade of people that this is relevant to? Can we start something there? And where do you begin prioritizing if we're that low? Well, can we come out of this?
Yes, we can come out of this. I do believe that. Otherwise, I wouldn't be running. I do believe that we need new leadership to be able to come out of it. But you're absolutely right. Things are at a low. But some things can be changed, and we have to prioritize. We've got to be strategic in our priorities as well. And those are things that haven't happened. But one of the basic things when you talked about civic pride, well, it seems that there's been a loss of hope, a loss of belief, and a loss of faith in leadership. And that's something that needs to be restored. So one thing you have to do is be open and honest with the people and tell them the truth. Even if it's bad news, we need to let them know the truth about the situation. But there's some things that we can do. And while we do have some black eyes, there's some things that are good about Flint, but we need to do some cleaning up of our own home. And you hit on one of them. It is public safety. We need to do something about public safety. We need clean and affordable water. We need neighborhood revitalization. We've been tearing down abandoned houses, but we need to rebuild. And when we do those kinds of things, that creates a tax base. If we rebuild, we can't keep tearing down and not rebuilding, because that's how the city thrives. Is we need some tax dollars. We need a tax base. And if we don't do these things, we won't get it. We won't attract families, and we won't attract businesses to Flint. So not only do we have to look at water and public safety and neighborhood revitalization, you talked about it as far as the schools. When we put those things in place, that helps the schools. They all work together, and those are things that we have to start looking at. And like I said, we have to be strategic about it. If we don't prioritize, we won't get out of this.
Okay, Karen, I got to keep moving.
Okay.
Because we need to come back to those, and I got a lot of things I want to talk to you about. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Time just goes so fast. Let me ask you, just follow that question. Do you think the people of Flint, collectively, culturally, caring about their city, would consider a tax that helps it to grow out of its dismal state?
I don't know. You know, that's a good question.
But the other communities won't help you, and the federal government's not going to help you if you can't help yourself.
And that's been some of the issue,
Yes.
and that's where that trust and leadership comes in, because and trust with other people that we've partnered with. I was at a city council meeting and they were talking about when GM came in about the tax abatement. Yeah, we need new businesses, but the problem that some people, or I don't know if I should say problem, but some people were against it because they said, we tried this before, and they didn't tell us the truth.
Those are not the people to have on the city council.
Right.
You need people with vision,
these were
with
not only city council people, these were also, well, some city council were for it, but these were also some of the residents, because they just thought that we've been lied to, we've been misled,
You're
we
gonna
can't
be lied
trust,
to,
but we have to, you know, and so that's, right, you are.
But you got to look at what is
right for the city, what's going to bring in revenue, what's going to support what we need to have happen.
And consider the conditions that you're in.
Right.
We can't get better by wallowing in our own body fluids.
No, we can't.
Yeah, we have to rise up.
We have to rise up, and that goes back to people have lost so much hope.
Yes.
It just seems like it's gone, and so we have to do some things and create some movement to get them to rise up.
And they're going to have to either consider some kind of a tax base to help themselves, like
Frank
we do. And other independent.
Right, we need a tax base, exactly, and we need to be more small business friendly as well.
Yeah,
we really need to look at that.
You're right. You need to be very business friendly because businesses won't come into a community where it's governed, where government does not support it.
Right.
Where it's not an unfriendly government, and you have poor schools and individuals who don't support it. And sometimes when leaders are making those deals with other communities, sometimes critics need to back off because they have more information.
Right, that's true. And you know, we're in a unique, temporary political situation, I believe. So we do have to do those things, but we cannot not prioritize.
Yes.
We can't.
Okay, you answered that really, really well.
Okay.
I don't know whether that was the last question or the question before, but you finally got around to doing it. Thank you. How will you create the framework to interest investors, engage new business development, and create the ambience? Create the ambience in the city of Flint that fosters a public appeal that will bring reality to your vision.
You know, some of it is what I talked about before, and you alluded to what Flint used to be. We used to be one of the richest communities in the country. We used to have one of the best community school systems. People came from all over the United States to look at Flint and model and emulate what we had in place. But like I said, it goes back to some of those things we talked about as far as taking care, cleaning up your own house. And we need to do that because we do have some things that should attract businesses. I mean, if you look at businesses that need freight and shipping, we've got Bishop Airport, we've got 2 major railways, we've got 3 major expressways, we've got the colleges that you talked about, U of M, Kettering, Baker, Mott Community College. We've got the hospitals that are here, and we've got a lot of vacant property. We've got a lot of vacant property, so we have some things that should attract businesses.
I'm going to shut you off there because there's a question that pertains to that. It's coming.
Sure.
Now, let me ask you a question here, and you don't necessarily have to answer it if you don't. What substantive parts of the plan being developed by the current mayor you would consider as worthwhile to bring the past into the future? Because I think the mayor has a strategic plan being developed now, and you must be familiar with that, or to some parts of it. And there are people who work for the mayor right now who believe in what they're doing, and we need those. I mean, you need those people on your side to build the momentum to carry this into a new, onto a new platform should you become mayor.
Correct.
So have you considered any of the things that he's...
Yes, because when you look at the plan that's in place, there are some positives. You know, one thing is there was quite a bit of community involvement, but there were some segments of the community that weren't involved.
Yes, sure.
There really were.
Yes.
When you look at what's going on with downtown, it's wonderful. And I remember there was a time when nobody came downtown.
Yes.
It was desolate. People were scared. Just some of the things we talked about earlier, but people invested in that area. That's what brought people downtown was the investment. You have to appreciate an area and want to do something there. Had that investment been on the north side of town, or the east side of town, or the west or the south, people would have gone there as well. And so we need to do some of those kinds of things that we've done downtown in other areas. Because I understand and I recognize that to be a thriving city, you need a thriving downtown. That's like the heartbeat, but you need the rest of the body as well.
Yes.
You can't function with just one piece, and you need to include all of the rest of it. And that's what I talked about, the north, south, east, and west. And if we could do that investing in those other areas, like what's been done downtown, it would bring people. If we, we were talking about businesses, you think about when neighborhoods were made up, they were made up of homes, but they were also made up of small businesses. And so we've got to do some things to attract them and spread that. And we haven't done a good job of that. We haven't done a good job of neighborhood actually stabilization and revitalization. We've got to do a better job of job retention and attracting new businesses. Those are the things that we have to do. But we have to do some of our own business as well. And that's what we talked about earlier, is the public safety. We've got to do that. We've got to take care of some water
things. Got to move on,
okay.
Explain your short and long-term strategies for creating a platform that revitalizes and could restore Flint to, over time, to a major American city. Well, first of all, your low-term priorities.
Well,
short-term.
Well, you know what? It's interesting because there are short-term things and there are long-term things. It is twofold, and some of those short-term things will have to continue. Make me think about when you're doing a work plan. Some have an end date and some of them are continuous and ongoing. But short-term things are what we talked about, as far as some of it with public safety. Getting grants that are available to get equipment, new equipment for police officers. We need that. Working with consumers' energy to trim those trees and make it safe and light in the neighborhoods. Some of the other things that we talked about as far as short-term goals would be the neighborhood revitalization. We've torn down, well, I'm sure it's more now, but a month ago we talked about we had taken down 1,800 abandoned houses that needed to be taken down. But what if we could have built up some of those? What if we could have built up half of those? That's a long-term goal. But cutting the grass, getting our grass cut, getting equipment for that. That's short term. We need to be doing some things to enhance our neighborhood, because what you find is you have a ripple effect. It makes people feel good. It makes people want to get involved. It makes them come out and help. It creates jobs for small businesses when you start doing those kinds of things. So those are some short term, quick things that you can do, but they need to be done ongoing. They don't stop, a lot of them.
Okay, Karen, I got to move on. But I'd like to add just to that question. Now, there are folks who are concerned about one thing: the solvency of the city, the debt that you owe, $20 million. How do you retire that? What strategy you have? And the people out there are going to be listening to you as they are looking right in your eyes right now to hear what you're saying. These are the people that vote. These are the people that are important to the city, and electing and the right person that puts the city of Flint on the right road to recovery.
So what do we do about money? Is that the question?
How do you retire the debt? Have you thought about that yet? Or have you got some ideas? Now that's a very thing maybe you need more thought on, because if you ask me that, I would have to think about it.
And some of it you do, because it's hard to talk about some things when you don't see actually. Let me see what you have in place. And the other thing you need to know is what plan has been put in place that we need to be following right now. Right. That's one of the issues, and that's what I'd really like to see is, okay, what are we supposed to be following? But then sometimes you have to look at where you're spending money and change those priorities. Maybe we don't spend it over here, we do it over here. That's some of it.
Karen, got to move on.
Okay.
A good response, because people will remember what you said. And they're going to hear. They may not remember all the things you said about anything else, but they'll remember the one about the debt. Okay. Okay. Now, the current mayor recently announced that entrepreneurs will be moving into Flint, and they will create 200 jobs, such as Diplomat Pharmacy and others. Okay. there are two types of events that lead to something positive for the city of Flint when you bring in jobs.
One is jobs.
And those are jobs with high-paying wages and that develop a product or a service here in Flint within its boundaries, and that somebody else outside of its boundaries want to buy that in other markets, that will transfer their gold into our markets here, the coffers of Flint, and where the money could be redistributed among its residents, where we all share.
Right.
Now the others are where we just trade money around in circles, using the same money. Now Diplomat Pharmacy is one of those such events, or Walmart or Kmart.
Okay.
They don't bring new wealth in. They employ people to sell products.
Right.
We transfer gold outside of Flint or outside of the country to China and Afghanistan and others, okay?
Okay.
Karen, I'm sorry. It's, I got to do something.
And we out of time.
Mayoral candidate, now the mayoral candidate will speak to her constituents of Flint. In the words of Paul Harvey, now hear this. How excited should the citizens get when you move businesses in that just trade money around in circles? And see, the 200 people are only 1/2 of the percentage of jobs that were lost in 1970. How excited should we be?
Well, I'm not real excited. I'm always glad when people have jobs, but some of the concern is, or some of the issue is, how many of them do they live in Flint? Do they live in Flint? And because, you know, I think about, and I have nothing against our chief of police, but do they live in Flint? We use our tax dollars to pay people that don't live here, and they pay their taxes elsewhere. Okay. So how many of those jobs are in Flint? And
okay, real quickly, in 10 seconds.
Yes.
How will you bring together Labor, Democrats, and Republicans together to work in the best interest of Flint?
You know what? We're going to have to work together. We're going to have to put certain differences aside and look at what's best for the city.
Have you got a quick inventory of all of the assets that could really put Flint back to working together again? Millions of dollars invested by General Motors and foundations and places and individuals. The tremendous dollars that are here that can be used. You want to use 10 seconds?
Yeah, there are tremendous dollars here that can be used, and that's what I'm saying. We've got to come to the table. We've got to come together. We cannot let these differences that have kept us apart continue.
Gotta go.
Okay.
Now it's time to close the show. Karen Weaver, you've been a great candidate. You've been a great spokesperson, and we appreciate you.
Thank you.
Now it's time for the In My Opinion show to close. For all of you out in TV land, stay focused.